Task 2.1, identify and classify information and assets. As we explore this task, remember that understanding how to properly identify and classify both data and assets is fundamental to creating a robust security strategy. And remember, if I don't go deep enough as you had hoped, that's what the prompt at the end of the section's for. So I've modified it too, so we've got some fun stuff to look at the end of this prompt and going forward. Again, identifying and classifying information and assets is a crucial task for any information security professional. It forms the foundation of effective security management. This task is divided into two main subtasks. 1. Data classification, and 2. Asset classification. These subtasks might seem straightforward, but they're interconnected and vital to the overall security posture of an organization. As we progress through this deep dive, you'll see how these concepts relate to other areas and other CISSP domains. Remember, the CISSP exam tests you in your ability to think holistically about security. While we're focusing on classification today, keep in mind how this connects to access control, risk management, and other key areas we've discussed or will discuss in future sessions. So let's break down each subtask and explore the key points you need to understand for the exam. And don't forget, if you want to test your knowledge or dive even deeper, use the AI-assisted prompt on the last slide. Let's dive into subtask 2.1.1. Data classification. This is a crucial concept for the CISSP exam, and you will be tested on it. It's fundamental to protecting an organization's information assets. Data classification involves categorizing data based on its sensitivity, criticality, and other value requirements to the organization. The goal is to ensure that the appropriate security controls are applied to protect the data effectively. Let's break down key components. Identify the data types. Your first step is determine and categorize different types of data based on the CIA triad: confidentiality or sensitivity, integrity, and availability or criticality. So for example, customer personal information might be highly confidential, financial records critical for integrity, and operational data critical or crucial for availability. 2. Set classification criteria. Establish clear criteria for classifying data. This might include levels like public, internal use only, confidential, strictly confidential. Each level should have defined characteristics and handling requirements. 3. Label and tag data. Ensure that all data is appropriately labeled according to its classification. This could involve metadata tagging in digital systems or physical labels on documents. 4. Access and protection controls. Implement access controls and protection measures that align with each classification level. Higher classified data should have stricter controls. And 5. Regular reviews and updates. Classification isn't a one-time task. Periodically review and update the classifications to reflect changes in sensitivity or regulatory requirements. Remember, for the CISSP exam, you need to understand not just how to classify data, but why it's important. Data classification is the foundation for many other security controls and directly impacts our risk management strategies. Subtask 2.1.2, Asset Classification. This is another critical concept that you'll need to understand for the exam. Asset classification complements data classification, and together they form a comprehensive approach to protecting an organization's resources. Asset classification involves categorizing all of an organization's assets based on their importance and sensitivity. Here's the key points to remember. Identify and inventory assets. This includes hardware, servers, computers, mobile devices, software, applications, operating systems, networks, routers, switches, even the physical facilities. For the CISSP exam, remember that assets aren't just technological. They can be physical and, of course, most important, human resources. 2. Set classification criteria. Define criteria for classifying assets based on their criticality, value, and impact to operations. Consider how each asset supports the CIA triad: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. 3. Categorize assets. Classify assets into categories such as critical, high, medium, and low. A critical asset might be a main database server, while a low importance asset would be a guest Wi-Fi access point. 4. Label and document. Clearly label each asset according to its classification and document the required protection mechanisms. This documentation is crucial for maintaining consistency in security practices. And 5. Periodic review and update. Regularly review and update asset classifications. As business needs change or new technologies are introduced, the importance of assets may shift. For the exam, it's important to understand that asset classification directly impacts risk management, business continuity planning, and incident response strategies. An organization's most critical assets will require the most robust protection and recovery measures. All right, to summarize Task 2.1, identify and classify information and assets. 1. Comprehensive classification. Implement thorough classification processes for both data and assets to enhance security and management. This includes establishing clear criteria for classification based on sensitivity, integrity, and availability. Remember, the CISSP exam expects you to understand how classification impacts various security controls and decision-making processes across multiple domains. 2. Proper labeling, documentation, and declassification. Ensure that all data and assets are appropriately labeled and documented according to their classification level. This includes understanding when and how to declassify information or assets that no longer meet the criteria for their current classification level. The CISSP exam may test your knowledge on the life cycle of classified information and assets. 3. Regular reviews and updates. Conduct periodic reviews and updates of classifications to adapt to changing operational needs, emerging threats, and regulatory requirements. This demonstrates the dynamic nature of security and the need for continuous assessment. Remember, security is not a set-it-and-forget-it process. It's an ongoing cycle of evaluation and improvement. As you prepare for the exam, consider how these classification principles apply in different scenarios. Practice thinking about the broader implications of classification and the overall security posture. All right, time to test your knowledge and Larry's. Maybe Larry didn't go deep enough. Look at the number 5 at the bottom of the prompt there. So don't just try the domain or task you want to go deeper in. Just put in a concept. Say, I need to know more about whatever. Enjoy.